Sir William Matthew Flinders Petrie, FRS, commonly known as Flinders Petrie, was an English Egyptologist and a pioneer of systematic methodology in archaeology and preservation of artefacts. He held the first chair of Egyptology in the United Kingdom, and excavated many of the most important archaeological sites in Egypt in conjunction with his wife, Hilda Petrie. Some consider his most famous discovery to be that of the Merneptah Stele, an opinion with which Petrie himself concurred. Petrie developed the system of dating layers based on pottery and ceramic findings. William Matthew Flinders Petrie was born in Maryon Road, Charlton, Kent, England, the son of William Petrie and Anne. Anne was the daughter of Captain Matthew Flinders, surveyor of the Australian coastline, spoke 6 languages, and was an Egyptologist. William Petrie was an electrical engineer who developed carbon arc lighting, and later developed chemical processes for Johnson, Matthey and Company. On 26 November 1896, Petrie married Hilda Petrie in London. They had 2 children, John and Anne. They originally lived in Hampstead, where an English heritage blue plaque now stands on the building they lived in, 5 Cannon Place. Their son was John Flinders Petrie, the mathematician, who gave his name to the Petrie polygon. In 1933, on retiring from his professorship, he moved permanently to Jerusalem, where he lived with Lady Petrie at the British School of Archaeology, then temporarily headquartered at the American School of Oriental Research. When he died in 1942, Petrie donated his head to the Royal College of Surgeons of London, while his body was interred in the Protestant cemetery on Mount Zion. World War II was then at its height, and the head was laid in transit. After being stored in a jar in the college basement, its label fell off, and no one knew who the head belonged to. It was identified, however, and is now stored, but not displayed, at the Royal College of Surgeons of London. The chair of Edwards Professor of Egyptian Archaeology and Philology at University College London was set up and funded in 1892 by a bequest of Amelia Edwards following her sudden death in that year. Petrie's supporter since 1880, Edwards had instructed that he should be its first incumbent. He continued to excavate in Egypt, after taking up the professorship, training many of the best archaeologists of the day. In 1913, Petrie sold his large collection of Egyptian antiquities to University College, London, where it is now housed in the Petrie Museum of Egyptian Archaeology. One of his students was Howard Carter, who went on to discover the tomb of Tutankhamun. In his teenage years, Petrie surveyed British prehistoric monuments in attempts to understand their geometry. His father had corresponded with P.A.Z. Smith about his theories of the Great Pyramid, and Petrie travelled to Egypt in early 1880 to make an accurate survey of Giza, making him the first to properly investigate how they were constructed. Returning to England at the end of 1880, Petrie wrote a number of articles, and then met Amelia Edwards, journalist and patron of the Egypt Exploration Fund, who became his strong supporter and later appointed him as Professor at Egyptology Chair at University College London. Impressed by his scientific approach, they offered him work as the successor to Hilda Dowd Neville. Petrie accepted the position and was given the sum of a circumflex £250 per month to cover the excavation's expenses. In November 1884, Petrie arrived in Egypt to begin his excavations. He first went to a New Kingdom site at Tanis, with 170 workmen. He cut out the middleman role of foreman on this and all subsequent excavations, taking complete overall control himself and removing pressure on the workmen from the foreman, to discover finds quickly but sloppily. Though he was regarded as an amateur and dilettante by more established Egyptologists, this made him popular with his workers, who found several small but significant finds that would have been lost under the old system.